Hi Internet, this is Kevin here, and today I'm going to show you how to use my Indexmeister and Imbrowse programs to index your large latex documents. Now, if you've ever tried to make an index for a self-published book or a dissertation or something like that, you know that it's a long and tedious process, and that's why I wrote these programs, just to speed it up a little bit. Now, for an example today, we have this file, example text, and if we look inside there, this is an essay that I downloaded off Project Gutenberg. It's by Robert E. Howard, and it's just where he explains the background for his Conan stories. Kind of interesting reading, but very good as an example because it has all these crazy proper nouns that all need to be indexed. Now, just as far as what I do with the latex document, you notice that I'm using the memoir class. Could also use the book class, but in general, memoir gives you more control over indexing and will work better for this sort of thing. And then in the document preamble, I have make index. That tells LaTeX that it's going to be on the lookout for latex terms and it's going to generate an index file. Now, if you go down to the end, you see I put the tag print index, and that's just where it's going to print the index. So, pretty simple stuff there. Back to the command line. Now, I'm going to start out using Indexmeister. Indexmeister is the program that actually suggests terms. Indexmeister, example text, and I'm just going to pipe that into a text file. Text, not text. Call that terms, txt. Okay, and you can see it only takes a second. And if we look in that terms text, you can see it found us about 100 terms that it thinks we should put in an index. Now, you can always edit this with a text editor, and you can put in your own terms or take out terms you don't want. But for a first pass, let's say this is pretty good. Looks pretty good to me. So the next step, we're going to use Imbrowse, which is the program that actually puts in the tags. And we're going to run that on our terms text. Now, if you look in the screen, it shows you the term you're on. It shows you that it's term 1 out of 100. And here it shows you the next couple terms that are coming up, which is useful when you have several terms in a row that are sort of similar, so you can tell the difference. Now, this first term is Aesir. So if you press S, it'll show you the first few places in the text that that word shows up, or that term. And just looking at this, it looks like the Aesir are a particular kind of people. So let's say that instead of indexing it as just Aesir, I wanted to change that. I can press C, change index entry, and change it to Aesir, parentheses, people. Okay? And now that's how it'll be indexed. And now to index that term, I just press I for index, and it'll go through one occurrence at a time, and it'll show you the surrounding text, and then it'll show you what it's going to do. It's going to put in that latex index tag, so it'll be indexed as Aesir, parentheses, people. So if I like that, I just press A for accept. It goes on to the next one. And let's say those are all good, so I'm just going to go accept, 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 and so on. There's quite a few of them. But as you can see, that was a lot faster than going through and typing in a text editor. Okay, this next term is Africa. So let's say that looks good. Show occurrences. It's only one. So I do want to point out the show occurrences, it shows the file it shows up in. This program will work on every text file in the directory. So it's really good for larger projects where you have many files. You just run Indexmeister on the top level or the master file. Okay, so let's go ahead and index that by pressing I and accept. Okay, let's say this Amazon term, you don't want that in there. No problem, you just press D for delete. Bam, it's off the list. You won't see it again. And let's say Aquilonia. You want to come back later and work on that. You can press K and you'll just skip ahead. Okay, so let's say this is all good, but it's your lunch break or something, you're ready to leave, you want to come back and work on it later. No problem, you just press Q for quit, Q, and it quits out, and when you come back in, it'll be in exactly the same place. So let's go back in, you can see it starts off on Aquilonia, which is the last term we haven't indexed. Well, let's say that something went horribly wrong, and you're afraid you messed it up. No problem, just hit A for abandon changes, and it'll quit out, and it won't change the list of terms. It might leave some tags in if you already put them in, but if you list the directory, you can see it always backs up the text files as it changes them, and it backs up the list of terms. So you can copy those over, and you can recover. Okay, so let's go back in one more time. Just skip Aquilonia because there's a million of them. Let's index a couple more terms so it can make a decent index. Index that. Accept. Index that. Accept all those. Index that. Okay. Baltic C, sure, we'll index that. Okay. That's enough to show you how it works. So let's do Q to quit and save progress. And let's go ahead and make our LaTeX document. I think most people use PDF LaTeX nowadays. So PDF LaTeX, example text, goes through, no errors. And what that did is it built a raw index file. Example IDX. IDX is always the raw file. Now to make that usable, you need to use the command make index example.idx. Okay, and that'll turn into like a formatted LaTeX index that it can use, which has an IND extension. So if we list it, you can see it has example IND. So let's take a look at what that is. And you can see that it has the terms alphabetized with page numbers. Very nice. All we need to do now is we just build it one more time. You can see it's up to 19 pages now because it has an index, and that should be our final book with an index. So let's have a look at that. Here you can see it's nicely formatted LaTeX wise. And if we go to the end, page 19, you can see it has a nice index. Now in practice, you are often going to want to edit this a little bit before your book goes to print. It seldom gets it just perfect, but I find that Imbrowse and Indexmeister really do speed things up. They basically take care of the first two steps for you. So I hope these programs are useful. Feel free to email me if you have any comments or suggestions.